From Haryana, Mahabharat land, young Kunti spoke the mantra once. She called the sun. The sun came. In the kingdom of Kuru, in the land that is now Haryana, there lived a princess named Kunti. Before she was married, while she still lived in the palace of her father, she was given a mantra by the sage Durvasa, a mantra that could summon any god and receive a child from him. Young Kunti, curious and untested, spoke the mantra once. She called the sun. The sun came. She did not understand what she had invited. A child was born, a boy with a natural armor on his chest and natural earrings on his ears, gifts from his divine father. Kunti was unmarried. A child born without a husband was, in her world, a catastrophe. She could not keep him. She could not kill him. She placed the infant in a sealed basket. She set the basket on the Ashwa river, which flows through what is now the plains of Haryana. She watched it float away. She did not know she was sending her firstborn son toward a destiny that would one day face her other sons across a battlefield. The basket was found by a charioteer named Adhirtha and his wife Radha, who lived on the outskirts of Hastinapur. They had no children. They took the infant in. They named him Radheya, son of Radha, though the world would remember him by another name, Karna, the peeler of his own natural armor, a name he earned later in sorrow. Karna grew up among the common people of the Kuru kingdom. He learned to drive chariots from his father. He learned archery on his own, practicing before dawn in the fields of Haryana's red soil. He was gifted beyond measure. But when he went to the great martial tournament at Hastinapur, the tournament where the Kuru princes displayed their skill, the Guru Drona refused to let him compete. "You are a charioteer's son," Drona said. "This arena is for kings." Karna stood before the crowd, humiliated. It was the Kaurva prince Duryodhan who stepped forward and crowned him king of Anga on the spot, not out of pure friendship, perhaps, but out of the calculation that a warrior this skilled was wasted as a commoner. Karna, from that day, swore loyalty to Duryodhan. It was a loyalty he would never break. At the same tournament, Karna challenged Arjuna, the third Pandav brother, the finest archer among the princes, to single combat. Karna was equal to him. Perhaps he was better. But the old charioteer Bhishma, watching from the gallery, said loudly, "A charioteer's son cannot duel a prince." Karna, furious, lowered his bow. He vowed he would not fight until Bhishma was dead. He left the arena. From that humiliation grew the central rivalry of the Mahabharata. Karna and Arjuna, half-brothers who did not know they were brothers, would spend their lives circling each other. Karna would give away his divine armor and earrings to the god Indra, who tricked him in disguise, leaving himself vulnerable. He would be cursed by a Brahman whose cow he accidentally killed. He would be cursed again by the earth goddess for killing a boy unfairly. Every gift the sun had given him, fate seemed to take back. Yet he remained, until the last day, the most dangerous warrior on the Kaurva side. When the great war finally came, it was fought on the plain of Kurukshetra, in present-day Haryana, between the cities of Thanesar and Jind. 18 days of battle. Millions dead, the epic says, though the number is poetry as much as history. Bhishma fell on the 10th day. Karna entered the war on the 11th. He was now the commander of the Kaurva forces. He fought Arjuna. He fought Bhima. He broke the Pandav formations again and again. On the plains of Haryana, the soil is still said to be reddish in places. Local folklore attributes the color to the blood of that war, though geologists have other explanations. Kurukshetra is not just a battlefield in the Mahabharata. It is a physical place. Pilgrims still bathe in the Brahma Sarovar tank at Thanesar. The government of Haryana has built a Krishna museum there. The land has not forgotten. It was here that Karna, on the 17th day, finally faced Arjuna for the last time. On the 17th day of the war, Karna's chariot wheel sunk into the mud. The curse of the earth goddess had found its hour. Karna jumped down to lift the wheel free. His weapons were laid aside. He called to Arjuna across the field, "Wait. I am stuck. Honor demands you wait." Arjuna hesitated. The charioteer Krishna, the Lord Vishnu in human form, said, "Shoot now. The laws of war have been broken too many times on this field." Karna looked up. He saw Arjuna draw his bow. He tried to remember the mantra for a weapon of last resort. He could not. Another curse, the forgetting curse of the Brahman's son, had taken hold. The arrow flew. Karna fell. Before he died, he asked for three things: that his body be cremated on untouched ground, that people learn that a charioteer's son could fight like a king, and that the world know he never refused a beggar. Arjuna, learning afterward that Karna was his elder brother, was destroyed by grief. Kunti, who had revealed the secret only days before, mourned the son she had sent down the river in a basket. Karna's legend in Haryana and across North India is not only about war. It is about generosity. The epic records that Karna could not refuse anyone who asked him for anything: food, gold, his armor, his life. He was called Danveer, the hero of giving. Once, Krishna, testing him, appeared as a Brahman and asked for his teeth filled with gold. Karna pulled them out with a stone and handed them over. Once, Indra, afraid of Karna's invincibility, came disguised as a beggar and asked for the natural armor and earrings Karna had been born with. Karna cut them off his own body and gave them away, knowing exactly who was asking and why. In the villages of Haryana, grandmothers still say, "Be generous like Karna, but be wiser about whom you trust." At Karnal, a city in Haryana whose very name may derive from Karna, local tradition holds that the city stands where Karna once ruled or fought. The connection between the hero and the land is not accidental. The Mahabharata chose Haryana as its stage. Every year, during the solar eclipse, pilgrims gather at Kurukshetra in numbers that stagger the local administration. They believe the eclipse is auspicious at the place where the Bhagavad Gita was spoken, on the same battlefield, before the war began, when Krishna counseled Arjuna at the moment of his despair. Karna is not the hero of the Gita. He is the tragedy beside it. He was loyal to a friend who used him. He was born with divinity and denied a throne. He fought against his own brothers and died without the world knowing his name was Kunti's son. In Haryana, he is remembered with a complicated love, not as the villain of the Pandav story, but as the finest warrior the Kuru land ever produced, and the one who suffered most for accidents of birth. Schoolchildren in Karnal and Kurukshetra learn his name. Old men at tea stalls argue whether Arjuna should have waited. The sunborn boy of the Ashva river has not been forgotten. Haryana will not let him be. Tomorrow's story comes from another corner of India. Subscribe to walk with us through the folklore of every region, in your language.